Dear listeners, today, I come to address a delicate but necessary issue in our intimate lives, and I will do so with the respect and wisdom I always aim to bring to our talks. This content is aimed at those over 50 years of age who seek to maintain a fulfilling sex life. Let's talk about something that is often avoided in conversations: oral sex, or, more specifically, the best ways to stimulate the vagina with the mouth, an act that can not only be profoundly pleasurable for women but also a form of intimate connection between partners. Before I begin, I want to emphasize that talking about sexuality with naturalness and respect is key to maintaining a healthy relationship, both with our partners and with ourselves. Sexuality changes and transforms over the years, but it never loses its importance. On the contrary, with the experience and maturity we gain, we have the opportunity to experience it more consciously. So today, I want to share with you some ways to provide pleasure to a woman through oral sex based on medical studies and, of course, my experience in consultation as a sexologist. Oral sex can become an extremely intimate form of connection, especially for couples looking to maintain passion and intimacy at a stage of life where other physical aspects may be changing. Through oral sex, couples can explore a type of stimulation that does not solely depend on intercourse, allowing them to enjoy a richer and more diverse relationship. From this perspective, oral sex has the potential to strengthen the bonds of trust and affection in a couple. The act of giving and receiving pleasure in this way requires open communication and emotional attunement, which enhances intimacy. When couples reach maturity, they often feel the need to deepen their connection, and oral sex can be a manifestation of that care and love. To address this issue respectfully, it is important to remember that each person is unique, and what may be pleasurable for one woman may not be for another. The key lies in communication and being attentive to the partner's bodily responses. Below, I will share some techniques and approaches that have been backed by experts in sexology and psychology, which can significantly enhance the sexual experience and emotional connection. Sexual pleasure doesn't begin in the act itself, but much earlier. The caresses, the looks, and the words create the right environment for the woman to feel comfortable, relaxed, and willing to enjoy intimacy. According to studies, psychological pleasure and intimacy is deeply linked to emotional connection. So, before any direct stimulation, it is essential to ensure that there is an atmosphere of trust and relaxation. Oral stimulation will be much more pleasurable if the woman feels emotionally connected and desired. Gently explore anatomy. Female anatomy is complex and rich in erogenous zones. The clitoris, with thousands of nerve endings, is the main source of pleasure in oral sex, but it should not be the only focus. Start slowly by gently exploring the labia majora and minora with your tongue as a way of preparing the area without overwhelming the senses. Remember that the clitoris can be very sensitive, so intense stimulation at first can be uncomfortable or even painful. It is preferable to increase the intensity gradually while always paying attention to the partner's bodily responses. Vary the rhythm and pressure. One of the most important aspects to keep in mind is that stimulation must be varied. The body adapts quickly to a type of stimulus, so varying the rhythm, pressure, and tongue movements can keep pleasure increasing. Some studies suggest that alternating between circular movements and vertical strokes on the clitoris can be particularly effective. Additionally, it is advisable to change the intensity of pressure, moving from gentle movements to slightly firmer ones, always paying attention to the woman's reactions, breathing, and body language. Utilize the mouth fully. Complete oral sex is not limited to just the use of the tongue. Incorporate your lips and mouth as well. Breathing can intensify pleasure. Gently blowing on wet skin, for example, creates a thermal sensation that can be very stimulating. You can also use your mouth to gently cover the clitoris and suck, which can enhance the sensation of pleasure. This type of stimulation allows you to vary the sensations and avoid monotony. The power of consistency. Although variety is important, once you find a technique and rhythm that is pleasurable for the woman, maintaining that for a while is key. Many women appreciate consistency in stimulation, as it can lead to a more fulfilling experience. Report that greater pleasure is achieved when a consistent technique is maintained for enough time for the body to reach climax. Here, patience is essential, along with attention to the partner's cues. According to studies, constancy in clitoral stimulation, once the proper rhythm has been found, can be the key to reaching orgasm. While the clitoris is the center of much of female sexual pleasure, we must not forget other erogenous areas. The vaginal lips, perineum, and even the thighs can be equally stimulated with the mouth and tongue, contributing to a more complete experience. By alternating between these areas and the clitoris, we can avoid overstimulation of a single zone and offer a wider and longer-lasting pleasure. From an emotional point of view, oral sex can be an act of vulnerability and surrender for both the person practicing it and the one receiving it. In older couples, where emotional connection is often stronger, oral sex can be a way to reaffirm that bond. It is important to remember that sexual pleasure is not just physical. It reflects how we feel with our partner and with ourselves. The Masters and Johnson study, conducted by two pioneers in human sexuality research, showed that sexual satisfaction is closely linked to the quality of the relationship. When there is love, respect, and mutual understanding, sexual pleasure intensifies. In mature couples, oral sex can be an opportunity to rediscover intimacy that transcends the physical and delves into the emotional and spiritual. Oral sex, and more specifically the act of sucking the vagina, can be a source of pleasure that, when done with love, respect, and communication, strengthens the intimate connection between couples. For women, receiving this type of stimulation can be not only deeply pleasurable but also a way to feel desired and appreciated. In maturity, these acts of intimacy hold special value. They remind us that sexuality has no age limits but evolves and is enriched by experience and wisdom. I hope this talk has helped you better understand this aspect of intimate life and that you continue to explore your sexuality in a conscious, respectful, and fulfilling way. If you enjoyed this content, I invite you to subscribe to our channel, Sabia Old Age Stories, where we continue to discuss topics that help us maintain a healthy, connected, and happy intimate life. Until next time.